Blackthorn was a city of shadows and whispers, a place where the powerful thrived on the suffering of the weak. Corruption ran through its veins like poison, infecting every institution meant to uphold justice. For men like Victor Reyes, it was a paradise. For men like Damien Kane, it was a battlefield. Damien had spent years on distant war fronts, fighting for a country that had long since forgotten the meaning of honor. When he returned home, he had hoped to find peace, to rebuild the life he had left behind. Instead, he found death. His younger brother, Leo, the last family he had left, lay cold in a pool of blood, his life stolen by the hands of a monster. The police wouldn't help. The system was compromised. Damien knew there was only one path left to walk, the path of vengeance. But revenge was a road paved with darkness, and once he took the first step, there would be no turning back. Damien Kane arrived at his apartment late in the evening, exhausted from his first week back in Blackthorn. His military service had hardened him, but nothing could prepare him for what he found inside. The living room was in shambles. Furniture overturned, glass shards reflecting the dim glow of a flickering bulb. And at the center of it all, Leo's lifeless body lay sprawled across the floor, crimson seeping into the carpet. His hands trembled as he knelt beside his brother. There was no struggle, no chance to fight back. It was an execution, a message. Through clenched teeth, Damien whispered, "I swear, Leo, I'll make them pay." His fingers curled into fists as he forced himself to stay calm. He checked the apartment for clues. A blood-stained note sat atop the coffee table. 3 words etched in red ink: "Stay out of Blackthorn." Damien's jaw tightened. They thought they could scare him off. They thought wrong. Grief was a cruel master, but Damien didn't have the luxury of mourning. His instincts, sharpened by years on the battlefield, took over. He combed through the apartment for any indication of who could have done this. The blood on the floor was still fresh. The air smelled of iron and smoke, a lingering reminder that whoever had done this had left in a hurry. He found Leo's phone, the screen cracked but still functional. Scrolling through the last messages, one name stood out: Rick Calder, a known enforcer for Victor Reyes. "You'll tell me everything, Calder," Damien muttered under his breath, slipping the phone into his pocket. The war had begun. Victor Reyes was a legend in Blackthorn, the kind of man parents used to scare their children into obedience. His empire was built on blood, his power secured by fear. From the shadows, he controlled the police, the courts, and the streets. No one crossed Victor and lived to tell the tale. He sat in his high-rise penthouse watching the city through bulletproof glass. News of Leo's murder had already reached him, and he smirked. Let's see if the soldier boy knows when to quit. But Damien wasn't just anyone. He was a soldier, trained to dismantle warlords piece by piece, and Victor had just made a fatal mistake. Victor's network was vast, but no empire was without its weak points. Damien began his hunt by tracking down those who executed his brother. He would start from the bottom, cutting through Victor's ranks until the crime lord had nowhere left to hide. His first target was Rick Calder, a thug with a habit of running his mouth when he drank. A visit to the local dive bar provided all the confirmation Damien needed. Rick was boasting about a recent cleanup job to his crew. Damien waited outside. When Rick stumbled into the alleyway, Damien struck with the precision of a trained predator. In minutes, he had the truth. Leo had been killed on Victor's orders. Damien left Rick broken and bleeding, his message clear. This was only the beginning. As the body count rose, Damien felt the weight of his choices. He wasn't just hunting criminals, he was becoming one. His friend, Detective Ava Carter, warned him that vengeance was a path with no return. "Leo wouldn't want this," she pleaded. "You're better than them." But Damien's heart had turned to stone. He had no intention of stopping until Victor was in the ground. Victor didn't take kindly to losing his men. He sent his own message. A team of hitmen ambushed Damien in his own apartment. He barely escaped, but now he was a marked man. The entire city was hunting him. Damien knew he had to hit back hard. He set fire to one of Victor's major drug warehouses, crippling his supply chain. The city whispered of a ghost tearing through the underworld. Victor began to take notice. Enraged, Victor ordered executions. Anyone connected to Damien was a target. Innocent people started dying. Damien's war was spilling over, costing lives that had nothing to do with his vendetta. An informant lured Damien into a trap. Surrounded by Victor's enforcers, he barely survived, suffering a brutal beating. As he bled in a safe house, he questioned if he was truly winning. Elena Graves, a former assassin with a vendetta of her own, found Damien in his darkest hour. She offered her skills, revealing information that could bring Victor down. Together, they became an unstoppable force. A daring heist on Victor's hidden vault exposed his financial dealings. The public outrage weakened his hold on the city. He was losing control. A trusted ally betrayed Damien, leading to Elena's capture. Victor used her as bait, knowing Damien would come for her. Damien fought his way through Victor's stronghold, only to arrive too late. Helena, broken but defiant, used her last breath to beg him not to lose himself. The final assault, climax, and aftermath will include more intense combat, emotional depth, and a true exploration of whether vengeance leads to peace or destruction. Path of Vengeance is a tale of justice, obsession, and the price of revenge. Damien Kane's journey proves that while vengeance may bring closure, it rarely brings peace. The real question remains, was it all worth it?